Good morning. Welcome to Ramblings with Joe. Well, I talked about the county wanting to allow a quarry to be put in next to the house, next to my home, next to my neighborhood, next to 6 neighborhoods. I think about the same number of schools. There were a lot of people who were against this, and the county has voted to allow it. I'm disappointed. There's no getting around that. I am disappointed that the county has decided to allow this rezoning to take place. So zoning at its essence is a way to prevent encroachment of industrial areas into residential areas and vice versa. And the idea that the government, of course, I'm very anti-government. I don't think the government does a good job at much of anything. But the idea that the government took up the mantle of zoners and said, this area we're going to dedicate to residents and people who want to live in an area that has houses and playgrounds and parks and quarries. And quarries now, a quarry. So they've decided to rezone it. And that vote is final. Under the system that we have, once the county commissioners have decided and voted to rezone something, that's it. There is no mechanism for them to reverse their decision. There is no mechanism for the people, their constituents, to change their mind after the fact. It's not possible. The only thing that is possible is a lawsuit. And I know there are a lot of people online talking about starting a lawsuit, getting together, hiring attorneys. So I looked into it, and in our state, Georgia, it doesn't happen. The amount of times that a county commissioner's decisions has been overturned is a handful. And this is a legislative mechanism, the rezoning. So it's done. I'm not going to invest in a lawsuit. I don't believe that the lawsuit will be successful. I think that the lawsuit is pretty much a waste of time. What we're witnessing is a failure in the way the system works. So we have 5 commissioners, and 2 of them voted no. They're up for re-election. I believe they're both up for re-election. And 3 of them voted yes. So during the meeting, which I watched in its totality, the commissioners literally, I need to stop using the words literally. I literally say it too much. The commissioners, they led the Quarries representatives. At one point, I was so stunned by the line of questionings that they had to the Quality Materials Incorporated rep that I was like, oh, this has already been decided. And it's my personal opinion that the 2 people that voted no, well, that was just a show because they knew it was going to pass and they had the ability to vote no. And they're up for re-election, so that's my personal opinion. I have no proof of that. The quarry's going in. I don't think it's going to affect my home. I don't think I'm going to get a lot of dust. I don't think I'm going to get a lot of... Well, I will be able to hear the explosions when they set off those. I'm sure it'll be distant, and I probably will be able to sleep right through it. When I do sleep, I sleep very heavily. But there are neighborhoods that butt right up against the property that they are going to turn into a quarry. Now, back to the line of questioning. The idea that these commissioners bought in the experts that the company bought and hired and didn't have anybody else. They had the community come in and they were allowed to speak on the subject and tell their side of the story and why they don't want it, but they weren't taken serious. Well, number one, we're not on the richer side of the county. We're on the medium income side of the county, so we don't hold a lot of sway over those 3 county commissioners. This is just the truth of the situation, and we now are going to have a quarry here, because and amazingly, there was very little that they did to try and hide the idea that this was already preordained. And in my opinion, it was. The way they asked, at one point they said to the representative, they said something along the lines of, well, don't you mean to say it in a different way? Obviously, they've already had the conversation, and this was just a show in hopes that it would ease the decision that they had already made in the, in the backstage. And now they're just going to put this show on so that we can visibly see that, oh, look, we're having a discussion with the members of the community. You didn't have a discussion. The only people you asked questions to was the quarry people. There were some shenanigans about the building that the meeting was held in as well. One of the people that went, actually someone from our neighborhood, said that the parking lot was absolutely packed. There was no place to park. There were people driving around trying to find a parking place, and the building was not well marked, and the procedure to become someone who could speak on the topic was not well publicized. Do I think that was on purpose? I do. I do think that this is all on purpose. I think this is to minimize the amount of people who can show their disdain for the decision that was preordained. I did not go. I am still not feeling 100%, and I'm not ready to catch another flu. And I sent an email and I sent a video out to the internet. And short of that, I got nothing for them. And in retrospect, seeing the meeting and the way it went, it was a waste of time anyway. These county commissioners are ruling by decree. So we have a quarry coming to our area. I have some delicious coffee. There is an out, a possible out. Nothing is set in stone. No, sorry, nothing's set in stone. That's hilarious. This community is about to spend a lot of money on lawyers to try and get this overturned. Evidently, the only thing that overturns something like this is a inability for the county to follow the procedure. And so far as I can tell, they were very meticulous in that area, and the procedure was followed correctly. I mean, if they want to blow their money on lawyers, good luck to them. I'm not saying that there's nothing to do. As a matter of fact, I think the only thing that will solve this issue and stop the quarry is money. I think money is what started it and convinced the commissioners to allow it. I think money's the only thing that can stop it. And the way that I've done a little bit of research on this, and this is the only out I see for our community. And that is for the community to band together, take up as much money as we can and make an offer to the landowner to create a natural habitat that will just stay as is in that area. The landowner, I'm sure if we made a better offer than the mining company did, I don't know what that offer is, but I'm sure they'd take the money. Obviously, the landowner who's giving this purchase to Quality is in it for the money. That's why they're doing it. And it's horrible. It's a bad situation. I love my community. I love my home, and I love my neighbors. I'm not going anywhere. I don't think it's going to affect us too bad. It's going to affect my property values. But since I'm not planning on selling, it's not going to affect me too bad. It will, indeed, it will lower my property taxes. That will be nice. I'm hoping that I'm not affected by all of the new traffic and dust and explosions that are coming our way. I don't think we will. I've looked at the map, and there's quite a bit of natural berm between me and the quarry, and we have a natural berm also around our neighborhood. So the only thing I see changing this is if all the communities in the area get together, take up a collection, incorporate that land into a very specific nature preserve, and set it aside. But I don't see that happening either. I'm not going to go too deep into that part of it right now. I don't believe the community is strong enough to do that right now. I think that we're too comfortable. That's what it comes down to. So I guess until we start hearing explosions, nothing's going to happen. So the wife sent me a video and asked me to watch it. And the podcaster that I was watching from the video she sent me was a guy talking about the exodus of truckers from California. Trucking, something I know a little bit about. California is losing truckers for one reason only, and that is that companies can no longer take advantage of the owner-operator situation. The owner-operator 1099. That's the tax form that truckers who are owner-operators use. And I've done this. I've been an owner-operator with a company, and the biggest advantage to being an owner-operator is the freedom it avails you. It's one of the things that attracted me to trucking in the first place was the freedom, because you get in the truck and you go down the road and nobody bothers you but your customer, DOT, Department of Transportation, and other drivers. So the freedom is a lot. Money obviously is number one, but the freedom is that's right up there, close to it. And the idea that being an owner-operator, before the big companies really took control of the owner-operator side of things, owner-operators could pick and choose from the boards, the load boards is what they're called, the loads that they wanted to take. So I'm tired of running in the Southeast. I think I'll head out west. I'm going to find me a load that's going out to Texas or Arkansas or Colorado. And that's what happened. But slowly, the larger companies started to realize we can make use of owner-operators by having a contract with them and locking them into our company and forcing them to use our load boards. Now, they run company drivers also. These are drivers that are employees of the company, not contractors. So a lot of times the owner-operators will be the fill-in when they don't have enough company drivers. And the owner-operators, they don't have as much freedom as the owner-operators did that were truly independents. The independent drivers that would just go to load boards and say, hey, give me this load, make a bid on it and get it. Well, those guys have the freedom to do what they want. One of the things that the companies like to say is we don't have forced dispatch for our owner-operators. Yeah, you don't have forced dispatch, but what you do have is an owner-operator who is locked into your system, and if they don't take the load that you suggest they take, they can end up sitting still for a while, not making any money. That's a horrible situation, and that's something I came to realize. Fortunately for me, the company that I used to drive for as an owner-operator, I knew their system and I could work it, and I worked it pretty hard. And when I realized that that had changed and I was no longer going to be able to work the system as a contractor to them, I left. I wanted that freedom, so I left. And I mean, we all make decisions in our life and that was a life-altering decision. Fortunately for me, it made my life better. I spend a lot more time at home with the people I love. That's the basic premise of owner-operators in America and how trucking works. And if you're going to contract with a company, you're literally contracting with that company and you're saying, you'll assign loads to me and I won't go outside of the company to find other loads. So you're restricting your own freedom by signing a contract with a company. In California, what they've done is they have set up a set of rules. There's a lot of legal jargon in here, but basically what it comes down to is all of the owner-operators for the bigger companies are now considered employees by California. Although that might be advantageous to the truck drivers on some levels, for instance, they may have to be provided with insurance and retirement and all that, it's not advantageous to the company, and it takes away from the company all of the advantages that they had by using the contract drivers. So I think it's Landstar, big company, has told their drivers, if you want to keep driving for us, you can't be a resident of California. So a lot of their drivers are leaving California. Are they leaving California? I tend to doubt it. One thing that a truck driver loves to have is a base of operations. And that base of operations for any truck driver is his or her spouse, family, and extended family. Nobody wants to move away from their family. Well, not nobody, but for the most part, people don't want to live too far away from their family. So do I think that these truck drivers are leaving California? I do not. I think what they're going to do is they're going to establish residency across a state line in Nevada or something like that. In Washington, depends upon where they live in California. So they will establish residency in a different state, and they will stop paying state taxes within California. And they'll start paying state taxes in Nevada, Washington, Oregon. I don't know, pick a state. I mean, this is just a legal move so that they don't have to pay California taxes, and they get to continue to drive for a company that they may like. For instance, a Landstar driver may say, "Oh, well, let me buy this small piece of property in pick a state. Who cares? Arizona." And I am now in Arizona. Well, if they're smart, they'll pick a state without state taxes. Now, is this legal? I don't know. I mean, you have to check on the resident. Do you have to occupy a piece of property in that state for so many days a year? I don't know. Are they going to check on that? I don't know. Is California going to send representatives out to these different states to make sure that these drivers actually have a house on this piece of property that is occupied by them? I don't know. I tend to doubt it. I think what's happened here is that the government of California, with the intention of raising taxes on drivers who make pretty decent money, have run the drivers off. This seems to be a pattern in California. California is not business friendly. So, what's my opinion on this? Oh, really easy. Stop trying to take everybody's money. Taxation is theft. And I understand there's a certain amount of taxation that's needed to protect our country, to build roads. Okay, there's some people that think private roads would be better. I don't know. I'm kind of ambivalent on that because I've been a trucker for so long that I've seen some really horrendous roads that were private, and I've seen some very nice roads that were private. But the idea that you're going to tax yourself out of debt, it's not working. What you're going to do is tax yourself out of income for the government. You're running off the people who bring the money into your state. If I was a trucker and I lived in California and I had to pay ridiculous taxes, and then my company said, and it was a company I liked, if my company said to me, "You can't work for us if you have residency in California," I pick up the phone and I call my brother in Arkansas and I say, "Hey, I need a place to live. Can I live with you?" Am I going to go to my brother's house and live there? Probably not. But my mail's going to go there. I'm going to pay Arkansas taxes. So, yeah, you're still going to have the same people living in the same places in California. You're just not going to get the taxes from them anymore. You're running the people who pay taxes out of the system. As far as the actual contract drivers for companies go, I think that California is probably right. You probably are more of an employee than you are a contractor. This is just a loophole that the companies use to not give you any benefits. Which, if you're good with that, I'm good with that. I like freedom. I think if you don't want the company to pay for your health care and you don't want the company to provide you a 401k retirement plan or, any of that stuff, then yeah, move on. If you don't want them to do that, stay with that company. Do what they want. But you're locked into that company. So yeah, you're just an employee without benefits. Probably a better paid employee. I don't know if the difference in the amount of money you make at that company will pay for the benefits at the same level that the company gives to their actual employees. But if you can't say to that company, and I understand there's a little bit more freedom there, But if you can't say to that company, I'm not taking that load without repercussions, you're an employee. The company says, if you don't take this load, I don't have anything else for you, whether they do or not. You're sitting still. You're not making any money. You've been suspended because you didn't take that load. Yesterday, I didn't do a podcast. I hadn't been sleeping very well. Last night, I finally got almost 6 hours of sleep. So woke up this morning. I said, well, I can do a podcast. But yesterday, I was just feeling awful. I don't know how much of this is due to the flu that I had, but I do know I'm starting to feel a lot better. And last night's sleep was dearly needed. It is Thursday. I almost forgot what day it was. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to have a terrific Thursday. I'm still in the office. Speaking of trucking, I'm not actually driving right now, doing a little bit of training. And I think this is going to go on for the next 2 or 3 weeks, which is fine. I'm having a great time. It's a side of trucking that I've never experienced. I am not a contractor. I am an employee, and I am very happy where I'm at. Thursday, I hope that you guys go out and you have a terrific Thursday. I hope that you find peace, love, and dream. Until next time, ciao.